As a part of our staff gatherings at OGC, I started to lead a Bible study every Tuesday morning that helps us start our day by getting into the very presence of God, much like what we're doing here. And we're doing a study on the book of Philippians. And if you're not familiar with Philippians, Philippians is a letter that the Apostle Paul wrote while he was in jail to this really cool church in Philippi. And through this, we see that Paul is just praising them, encouraging them, and talking with them. But much like a lot of Paul's other letters, in chapter 1, he begins, after he does his customary greeting, he begins with something so very powerful. And he does this throughout all of his epistles pretty much, where he begins by giving thanksgiving and praying for them. Praying in a letter, allowing God to just minister so powerfully there. As a matter of fact, in Philippians chapter 1, verse 3, he starts by saying this: I thank my God every time I remember you, constantly praying with joy in every one of my prayers for all of you, because of your sharing in the gospel from the first day until now. Paul is thankful for their partnership in the gospel ministry, and he is praying that God blesses in some amazing, amazing ways. As a matter of fact, if you skip down to verse 9, this is where we actually catch a glimpse of what Paul was praying for this church. And as I'm thinking about it, friends, know that I'm praying for this for you as well. And he goes on by saying this: and this is my prayer, that your love may overflow more and more with knowledge and full insight, to help you to determine what is best, so that in the day of Christ you may be pure and blameless, having produced the harvest of righteousness that comes through Jesus Christ, for the glory and praise of God. Paul is in essence praying that they would experience a passion that would take them deeper and deeper into the presence of God, that would enact changes in their hearts and minds, maybe transform their thinking or their identity. Maybe they're struggling with who they are amidst just all the pressures and difficulties of being a Christian in this day and age. Paul was praying, and Paul was constantly praying that they would engage Christ. And so, friends, as we're coming together today, I love that topic of saying, this is what I'm praying for you. Know that I am. But friends, I wanted to challenge you with this. Are you constantly praying for the people who are around you? Are you praying for the neighbor for an opportunity maybe to share the gospel? Or are you praying for the person who needs healing or encouragement? Are you praying that the gospel would go forward in some incredible ways? Is prayer the first thing, just like Paul, that comes into our hearts and our minds? Friends, I pray that we would have been so transformed by the gospel of Christ that we would desire this communion and to see him active in all of these ways. And so, friends, I'm going to challenge you with that today. Be a people of prayer. Be a people who are characterized by love for one another. A love that says, yeah, I'm willing to devote time praying for them. And watch and see how God accomplishes his amazing, amazing work. Friends, I long to gather with you this Sunday as we worship Jesus at the Ocano Gospel Chapel. I also want to remind you of this, that on Friday evening, May 1st, if you're in the Ocano vicinity, at 6:30 p.m., we are having something called Renew, which is a night of prayer and worship, that we can get into God's presence to experience the depths of his riches and to watch him do some amazing, amazing things in our midst. Friends, we are called first and foremost to be a people who seek the presence of God and engage him in prayer. May God bless you mightily as you seek him today.